Welcome, everyone. I'll just wait a little bit. I can see people are quickly joining our webinar, but I'll just start by saying welcome. Okay, it looks like we have a nice critical mass of us. I would like to say both welcome and congratulations, future political science students and your families. As I introduce myself, I'll say this year, our oldest child is a freshman studying political science, not here at UCSD, elsewhere, but I know how much work it's taken all of you, students and your families, to get where you are. So congratulations, very proud of you. So I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Maureen Feeley. I'm a teaching professor in the Department of Political Science at UC San Diego. I'm also the director of undergraduate studies. And I do not teach lower division courses, but I teach lots of upper division courses. I teach on the politics of human rights, politics of development, gender politics and globalization. I also teach in the international studies program. I teach a course on comparative public policy and comparative democratization. And in fact, if my voice sounds a little gravelly right now, I've just gotten out of 6 hours of teaching. I taught my politics of human rights class and gender politics and globalization class. I also teach a graduate seminar. I work closely with our graduate students who are getting their PhDs and also studying to become university professors. And I work very closely with Natalie Ikker, who's our undergraduate student affairs advisor, who does so much for our department. She makes all of our lives possible, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Professor Feeley. So hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Ikker. I am the Undergraduate Student Affairs Advisor for the Department of Political Science. So when you begin with us this fall, you'll be connecting with me and just learning more about what our department is in terms of your path with us, our programs, and all that we have to offer. So Professor Feeley will be sharing a lot about that today, but really anything and everything that has to do with students outside of the classroom is under my directive for the department. I also help put on some events and programming. For the past few years, it's been virtual, but slowly it's going to transition into more in-person events and workshops. And I will be answering any questions that you all submit during the Q&A, section within this webinar. Some of it, though, might be covered later in the presentation, so I'll have Professor Feeley answer those for you. I will also be including links in the chat, so just as a forewarning, that will be lighting up pretty frequently, but that's just a way to share with you all the direct pages on our department website that Professor Feeley will be speaking about. So that helps you all know where to find that information moving forward after the presentation. So I'll have her continue with the presentation, and thank you again for being here.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Natalie, for that. And thanks for offering to drop links to the website. As you'll see, actually, Natalie's done a huge amount of work on the website, and there's a wealth of information and resources there. And yes, I have frequent references. So today, these are the things we'll talk about. Basically an introduction to the department, just a little bit about the history of the department. I'm going to brag a little bit because we can brag about our rankings. And I'm going to talk about some of the overarching goals of the undergraduate program. And then I'm going to speak a little bit to this question of why political science, some of the research questions that motivate us, and talking a little bit about postgraduate and career opportunities. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the undergraduate experience in political science at UCSD, a little bit about the curriculum, academic enrichment opportunities, and experiential learning opportunities. We've saved some time at the end for Q&A, but You can ask, again, through the question and answer feature rather than the chat, just directed to Natalie. And then Natalie, feel free to just chime in when there's questions of relevance. So with that, the history of our department, we're actually quite a young department, given the history of the discipline. We were founded in 1974, and since then, we're proud to say we've grown quickly in both size and reputation. We started out with 5 faculty members, and now we have almost 40 full-time faculty. We are the 11th largest major on campus with over 1,200 students, about the same number of women and men in the major. And we're also proud to say that about 40% of our political science majors are the first in their family to go to university. To brag a little bit more about our rankings, so US News and World Report for 22 ranked our graduate program 8th in the nation. This is among all public and private universities in the United States, and we're 5th in the nation in international relations. You might ask, how did we achieve such prominence? Well, one has to do with the research of our faculty. So to learn a little bit more about faculty research interests, you can go to the department website. And here you can look at the bios of different faculty. What you'll see is that our department is full of leading researchers in the discipline. You'll find that they've written many of the books and articles that you'll be reading and using in your courses. Many of our faculty have conducted fieldwork all over the world. They've served as policy analysts and as consultants to local, state, national, and international level governmental groups and non-governmental agencies. Also, you can learn more about our teaching, how we translate our research into our curriculum. If you go under the undergraduate program and then political science courses, you'll see a course list with descriptions. And also very proud to say that not only are we top researchers, but we're top teachers, and our average student evaluation ratings are over 90%. Why is this? Well, we think it's because we teach engaging and demanding classes. We have high expectations for you all, but we help you get there. We're very dedicated, we're passionate, and we really love working with students. So you may ask, why study political science? Well, if we go back over 2,000 years ago to Aristotle, he called political science the queen of the sciences because it combines many different intellectual interests and questions, from politics to history to economics to sociology to psychology, philosophy, anthropology. And we believe that this interdisciplinary approach can help us better understand political questions and political concerns at local, national, and international levels. We address some of the most fundamental problems facing societies. We look at international conflict and cooperation, the relationship between political institutions and political behavior, the role of law in social and political change, the causes and consequences of political and economic stability and instability. We look at inequality and opportunity gaps at all levels, local, national, international. We look at electoral rules and how they shape political representation and the quality of representation. We look at public policy, climate change, immigration, human rights, development, education, and more. One of our overarching goals, though, is to help you develop knowledge and skills for 21st century citizenship and leadership, again, at all of these different levels, local, state, national, global. How do we do this? Well, we do our best to introduce you to pressing 21st century political problems. We, through our lower division curriculum, build foundational skills and problem-solving skills. We then further develop these skills through our upper division courses, introducing you to cutting-edge methodologies and research tools. And what do you do with a political science major? Well, lots of different things. You could work with governmental and non-governmental organizations at all different levels. You could work as a policy analyst. You could work in campaigning and polling. You could work as an elected or appointed governmental official. We've had students who've joined the diplomatic corps, worked for the State Department. Many of our students have gone on to law school. We are the pipeline discipline for law school. Students have gone on to journalism, business, education at all levels, elementary, secondary, post-secondary, university, graduate students who've gone on to work in think tanks and at universities all over the United States, in fact, all over the world. If you want to learn more about careers in political science, our National Professional Association, the American Political Science Association, has several publications. You can Google them, or I've put the URL there. And also Natalie helps facilitate a professional development lunch series. Sometimes it's after lunch, but we try to do this 2 to 3 times during the quarter. It's been remote through the past couple of years, but we probably will be pivoting back to in-person soon. Here's just a sampling of some different alumni job titles that you can see: Senior Policy Analyst, US Ambassador to Qatar, Head Governmental Relations, Microsoft, Lobbyist, Chief of Staff, Immigration Legal Specialists, Policy Advisors, a whole diverse set of different pathways. And you can learn more about our distinguished alumni and also undergraduates if you go to the department website under People, and then you'll see a tab for alumni. And this is both undergraduate and graduate student alumni, but also you'll see a page featuring our undergraduate students. This is something that Natalie has worked on. And so you'll learn a little bit about other students in the department. Just a little bit about our curriculum. So one of the many wonderful things about studying political science at UCSD is we have different majors or pathways. And in addition, you can get a BS degree as well as a Bachelor of Arts degree, a Bachelor of Science as well as Bachelor of Arts. As BA degrees, we have 8 different majors, and by major, they're different curricula, and it's actually transcripted on your diploma. So for example, if you're an international relations major within political science, your diploma will read Political Science International Relations. I should note it's different than international studies. So it's political science. And so we have a general political science degree. We have 4 major subfields in our discipline, and you can have transcripted majors in each of those: American politics, which is the study of US politics; comparative politics, which is the comparative study of different governments in the world; international relations, the study of international level politics; political theory, which is the history of ideas, moral philosophy. And then you can also major in public policy, public law, and our newest major is race, ethnicity, and politics. For the BS degree, we have what's called a data analytics major, and this introduces you to data analytics skills. In addition, once you're a junior in the program, you can apply to our VAMIA degree. So what this is a 5-year master's degree. And you'll apply your junior year and then begin taking graduate courses your senior year, but pay undergraduate tuition and fees. And then you'll finish your degree your 5th year with graduate courses, finishing with a BA, a BA in International Affairs and Master's in International Affairs. This is done jointly with UCSD School of Global Policy of Strategy. We also have the Crinks Houston Law and Politics Initiative. And so this is a partnership with University of San Diego Law School, a law school just down the road from us. And this initiative brings in law school faculty, practicing attorneys, and judges into our classrooms. We have, as you can see again through the website, if you look at the undergraduate course listings, a very diverse offering of public law courses. Currently, we have 14 different courses. Many of these are small seminars, less than 20 students. And this enables us to really focus on those skills of legal writing, legal reasoning, oral advocacy. We also have an alumni mentoring program, which provides mentoring in and outside of the classroom and mentoring of independent legal research projects. So you can find more information on this through the Law and Politics Initiative, There's also information there on admissions data to top law schools. Many of our students have done very well. In addition, there's all different kinds of academic enrichment activities, and specifically opportunities to do research. So you can do this through what's called a Poly 199, and this is an independent research quarter with faculty, and you can do this one-on-one, or sometimes I have 2 or 3 students who want to do an independent research project together. You can do this through what's called our Research Apprenticeship Program, or the RAP, we call it. And here you're mentored primarily by PhD students who are in advanced stages of the program. They're writing their dissertations. And this will be open to you once you're of junior standing, have a 3.0 GPA, and you've taken our methods required course, Poly 30. And you can serve 1 or 2 quarters, winter or spring. You apply in the fall, and then you're closely mentored in methods, in coding, all different types, qualitative and quantitative research. And typically there's often opportunities to even co-publish papers with graduate students or faculty mentors. In addition to our department, also through the campus, there's research opportunities. It's called the REAL portal, stands for Undergraduate Research Experience and Applied Learning. Several of my colleagues have also founded research centers. This is just a small sampling. CPAS, the Center for Peace and Security Studies, the Center on Global Justice, the U.S. Immigration Policy Center, the Multi-Campus New Electoral Project, the Center for Latin American and Iberian Studies, or CELAS. And so in each of these centers, there's typically opportunities for undergraduates to do research. And so I encourage you to learn more about these. Again, you'll find links through the department website. Moreover, once you become a senior, finally, you can have the opportunity to write a senior thesis. And so this is an opportunity to be mentored one-on-one by a faculty member in the department. This is a 2-quarter sequence. You do the first quarter in the fall, where you're trained with your cohort, who are also senior honors CC students in research methods. And then typically you have weekly meetings with your faculty advisor through the fall, and then also the winter, and then you complete your thesis right at the beginning of spring quarter. In addition, we have lots of different experiential learning opportunities. We have the local internship research program we call the LERP. And this is a way to get academic credit for approved local internships. You can receive academic credit. There's seminar credits for the first quarter you do it, where you'll work also with a faculty mentor and typically write a short paper. And you can also add on an additional second quarter. So to get a listing of different local internship opportunities, go again to the website under internship opportunities. In addition, one of the wonderful things of being at UC San Diego, or actually any of the UCs, is you have these opportunities to go either to Washington, DC, or Sacramento to work with state legislators in Sacramento or at the national level through the UC-DC program. And as you're doing that, you're able to take UC courses, earn academic credit, often conduct research. There's fellowships available for both of these programs. We strongly encourage everyone to participate in these if you're able. In addition, study abroad. So we're hoping, barring any new surges of the virus, that we'll be able to send many of our students abroad. Most students say that this has just been a truly transformative experience for them. I know it was for me. I studied abroad my junior year, and of course in political science, this is a really important part of your education as well, if we're able to do it. So you should be able to have the opportunity to study for a quarter, a semester, or even a year abroad. We also have shorter stints. They're called global seminars. These are for 5 weeks, typically in the summers, or there's spring break trips where you can go for 1 week. and there's financial aid and fellowships available for these as well. In addition, if you meet the criteria, you can have a global concentration in political science, and this is something else that's transcribed on your diploma, and it requires that you study abroad, you acquire second language proficiency, and 2 major courses with global content. This is just a small sampling of some political science student organizations. The Political Science Student Association, PSSA, is open to everyone. We also have a National Honor Society, Pi Sigma Alpha. This is the Political Science National Honor Society. The eligibility criteria is on our website. There's a pre-law professional organization, Kappa Alpha Pi. There's a mock trial club, a model UN club, Prospect Journal. So this is a group of political science students, and now it's grown actually beyond our discipline. It's UCSD's Journal of International Affairs that's run by undergraduates. And that's all I have for today. We hope to see you in the fall. Some of our goals, again, are providing you with the knowledge and skills and resources to become engaged 21st century problem solvers at these different levels. Our community, we think, is very vibrant, diverse, supportive, and collegial. Our careers, you've seen a listing: policy, analysis, government, law, research, diplomacy, business, NGO work, journalism, education, news broadcasting, and more. And again, check out our very distinguished alumni. And with that, I'd like to open up the floor to questions. So Natalie, I don't know if
yeah, we're welcome to any questions that you all have. Feel free to pop it in the Q&A so we can review it. But again, I mean, Professor Feeley, she's definitely very hands-on in the department and knows so much and is there for students, you know, and is a great supporter of our undergraduate students and our graduate students as well. But, you know, we are happy to answer any questions, especially because this time is for you all as well. I think between myself and Professor Feeley, we know quite a bit about the department and are happy to answer them. So I do see a question. Okay, cool. I see some coming in. So I see a question from one of you all that asks, how does the major differ depending on one's college? So it doesn't actually. That's a really great question. So any student of any major and any academic level can be in any college. I view it as the college, their mission and values are then represented in their general education requirements. You know, depending on one's major, they might fit well with the college's general education requirements, or there might maybe be more classes that they need to take. So, but really it doesn't differ at all. So, you know, any political science student who is, you know, in Eleanor Roosevelt College, for example, like their general education is going to be the same. So I hope that answers that question. So I'll change that. We answered it live. As far, I'm going to jump around a bit. I see a question that asks, what year are you able to study abroad or take part in the UCDC program? So with studying abroad, you know what, we actually have this on our website. Let me just try and take a quick peek where I can show that to you all. Yes, there is one. So it's when's the best time for me to study abroad? Let me just pop it in the chat so you all have access to it. So this is a very visual tool that is helpful, but ultimately starting fall of your sophomore years or your second year at UCSD is just about the earliest. Summer is kind of in the middle. But I think one thing that is important for you all to know is that the department absolutely, the colleges and just the university as a whole is open during the summer. So you're more than welcome to connect with us and ask questions, connect with other departments on campus like Study Abroad and start planning that. And it's actually a little bit better during the summer because we have more time to support you all. So don't be afraid to reach out and start planning ahead of time, especially if that is something you absolutely want to do. With the UCDC program, my understanding is that generally they're looking at students who are who have junior standing. So not necessarily in your third year at UCSD, but in terms of units. So junior standing begins at 90 quarter units. And sometimes for the UCDC program, or similarly the UC Center Sacramento program, they allow sophomore standing students who are maybe close to junior standing to participate, especially if their GPA is high and there's room in the program. So very similarly, I recommend you connect with the folks who are in charge of those programs early and often once you get here, so that you can begin that process. It does take a while. I think one thing that you should keep in mind is to maybe plan about a year or so in advance. And I know that sounds like a lot, but trust me when I say starting earlier is better, because then you're going to be able to meet with the people that you need to in order to make the transition process into those programs, because you can do both, I promise, with enough planning. And it'll just make it a lot easier for you to handle and get all the questions. There's another question that says, what is AWP? Maureen, did you speak about that, AWP?
I did not. I was going to speak. I realized I was looking at the chat earlier rather than the Q&A. There's a question. I think it's a great question, given the fact that, well, they're all good questions, but this one, UCSD is a large school. How accessible are professors? How do professors build relationship with students? And yes, we are a very large campus, but I think you'll find our department, professors are very accessible. So for example, I'm just coming from class. I always have office hours right after class, so students can just come up after class. But another thing that I do is, this is the upper division level, you'll do a research project. And so a lot of that mentoring comes through office hours. So we say this in the freshman orientation too, the best thing you can do is right away, week 1, week 2, go to office hours, get to know the faculty. I mean, that's what we're here for. And even though some of the classes get big, we have PhD students who help mentor. And so we try to have every undergraduate has a TA mentor as well as us. But it's wonderful when you come to office hours, because then we can really engage one-on-one, or come with a friend and then we're in a small group. Hopefully I answered that. Natalie, do you have another?
Yeah, I actually want to add to that. So prior to COVID, there at UCSD, there's this program, joint program, I'll say. It's called Dine with a Prof or Coffee with a Prof.
Yes.
And yeah, and so it's offered by each of the colleges, and I think it's like vouchers, I want to say.
Yeah,
and
like a little card.
Yeah, and so, you know, Maureen, I'm sure students have invited you, but essentially students are able to get these vouchers and have coffee with a professor that they invite, or a meal with a professor, and it's free. Like you don't need to pay for it, which is great. And a lot of students took advantage of this. I'm going to put it in the chat. This is what is on the website. It's COVID edition, but again, hopefully they're going to transition back to a more in-person version of this, but this is another way to, you know, connect with a professor after, you know, office hours or in class, things like that.
Oops. I'm trying to Someone is asking for a slide. Hopefully that's the right one. This slide, my mouse is a little bit squirrely. Okay. Let's see. Could you please comment on political science major with minors in business or economics? Natalie, that might be a question. I mean, sure. I can speak about it substantively in that we do consider economics one of our sister disciplines. Many of us take what's called the political economy approach to understanding political problems. It's many students think about either doing a minor or double major. I don't know the exact numbers, but yes, we also have a business minor, but not a business major, but there is a new business economics major. Maybe that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the chat, the link to, oh, that should say minors, I apologize. So the page that I linked, it has all of the minors that UCSD offers. And it also includes the department or college that it's administered by, and then a link to the page of that minor. And that's actually something I recommended that the university do, just to make it more accessible for students, because as advisors, we connect students to this page, and it's helpful for you all to know who oversees what, because that is actually the department or college that you would connect with to learn more. So just to, complement what Professor Feeley shared, we do have a minor in, when I say we, I mean UCSD does have a minor in business, does have a minor in economics, so you would connect with them. Simultaneously, I do see that there's a question that asks, what minors or second majors do you think go well with a major in political science, public law? Ultimately, it's up to you, because it is your education. And so you get to decide what works for you and what you'd like to do in the future. And so I think what would be best is to, again, look at the minor code page, and then let me just input the link to the majors that UCSD has. Just give me one moment. Because as an advisor, I see all sorts of mixes. The most common in terms of double majors or having a minor come from those that are also in the social science discipline, because again, just that familiar type of course structure and content. But I also see students double major in various STEM fields, or have minors in STEM, and that's fine too. Again, it's up to you all to decide what works best. In terms of public law, I do know that there is a law and society minor that's overseen by Warren College. That's pretty popular. Something to note is that just because a college oversees a certain minor does not mean that you need to be a student in that college to take advantage of it. So any student of any college can pursue any college's minor. That makes sense.
Yeah, and just to underscore what Natalie said, it is your education. So for example, say you think you might be interested in environmental law. Well, then you could do an environmental studies minor. So you could, we really encourage students to explore their intellectual and personal interests. But then we're here, as I mentioned, we do have a pre-law mentoring program. And several of our PhD students actually have JDs. And so they also sit on the mentoring. There's a group of mentors that you can go to. And so, these are things that you can discover and figure out during your time here. There's another question: what makes UCSD political science experience unique, especially compared to other similarly ranked UCs and other colleges? Oh, the lists are so long. First of all, there's the beach, but okay, there's Santa Barbara. On the other hand, we are the only UC that has a BS in data analytics. And UCLA also has a race, ethnicity, and politics program, but we're the only other one. We're also, of course, extremely highly ranked. But I don't know, of course, I'm a little bit biased, but our department really is, I think, just such a special mix of really top-notch scholars, but so collegial. I mean, we really are like a family, and working very closely with staff and with students. I think there's just a really wonderful sense of community. Maybe it's the case you find it everywhere, but I think it's a little bit special here. Natalie, what else did I miss? Why else
I mean, of course, there's some bias. So from an advisor perspective, I will say we have the best website. No, but actually, I have actually checked every single UC's website for political science, and then I see what we have to make sure that we have the information. We are transparent about it. It's accessible. It makes sense. It's updated. I have our student assistants look at it and give their perspective. For me, it's always been important to highlight the undergraduate experience, just, you know, as the undergraduate advisor. So Professor Feeley shared before that the link in which we have on our department page that highlights undergraduate students, that's not something that you see on other department websites necessarily at UCSD or otherwise. And so I think it's really important just to show for you all, you know, what our students can do and what they choose to do and who they are and how they are represented in our department, because you all are wanting to find people who represent you and, you know, the communities that you come from, what's important to you, what you hope to do in the future. So I think that is something that stands out in terms of making that community connection. What I have also been doing these past couple of years is asking for feedback from students on our different programs. So I know I put tons of links in the chat, but if you look at some of them, like for example, I will resend it, but on our research apprenticeship program page, for example, I include feedback that students have submitted. I'll just put it in the chat as an example. And so that's something that I've tried to build up because I think it's important, again, in the spirit of transparency for any student who is interested in our department and our programs to see what people are saying about them. You know, because of course, people like myself and Professor Feeley can say what we say, but this is from students, you know, and these are individuals who were in your shoes a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So that's just something in which, you know, I feel like I've done what I can to highlight and make it a worthwhile experience for students. And just again, in that advising component, that's just something that I value in terms of that transparency and ensuring that you all are getting the correct information from us, because, you know, as much as we love having you all here, we also want you all to graduate in a very timely manner. And so we do what we can to support students. And I don't know if that's something that I've seen in other colleges and universities, but everyone is different. I know that I tell students that if we are not the university for you, that is okay. You know, we want you to be happy wherever you choose to go. So you all are very clearly brilliant to be admitted to UCSD, and we hope that you all, you know, move forward with us. But, you know, definitely if you have questions, we're here to answer them.
Just to chime in, one more thing that occurs to me is we do have this program called the Professional Development Series. And so Natalie has worked very hard with different campus partners. So for example, right away in the fall, we start out and bring in representatives from the Study Abroad office. We work with you to show you how to apply for scholarships for study abroad. We work to help you explore different professional paths and internships, and bringing in like panels of students, graduate students, or other undergraduates who've had this experience. And I think there's many wins for that. So one, you get information, but two, it serves this really important function of community building. And so you get to know other political science majors, and we get to know each other. I like to go to these as much as you do. And so it's a way for us to get to know each other outside of the classroom. Let's see, I guess we're getting close to time. Let's see, in the future, if I have a question, who do I contact? Oh, Natalie, I see is typing. Okay. What is the difference between the political science program at UCSD compared to the criminology major at Irvine? Yeah, we do not teach criminology in our department. So if you're interested in that, go to UC Irvine.
Yeah, I actually, so that's where I did my undergrad.
Oh.
So yeah, so criminology is under the School of Social Ecology at UC Irvine. And so they have a different perspective. I actually took an introduction to criminology. It was required for my major. Anyways, so yeah, it is different to, again, support what Professor Feeley has shared. If you are interested in criminology, then it sounds like their program is more fitting to your career aspirations. And UC Irvine is a great school. So again, I think it's important for you all to recognize the foundation of the courses. So in our department, our courses are all political science courses. That's why it has the notation of POLI, poly, because that is our foundation and that is what our courses and majors consist of. While, for example, the criminology major at UC Irvine is going to be a little bit more interdisciplinary because of the school that it's under, and it's going to have a little bit different focus. So that's criminology, criminal justice, a bit of sociology impacted in there, maybe a bit of public policy just because of what criminology consists of and how policies and laws impact it, but it is different than political science. So again, I definitely recommend you check out their website and see how their plans differ from ours, their course descriptions, just to see again what fits your needs.
Let's see, percentage of students going to graduate school. That I don't know. I would say in my classes, about 10% approximately. But that's my personal experience. But to underscore Natalie's point about the website, that you'll just find so much there. So do take some time exploring the different tabs. Again, you'll see student voices captured on some of these. Do check out the featured undergraduate students, and you can imagine, maybe doing something similar to some of those students. Please do check out research interests of faculty and look at the courses, right? As Natalie said, we're a political science department, so this will form your foundation, the main subfields of the discipline, as well as the fields of public law and public policy. And data analytics, it distinguishes us for sure, but we have lots of options. I think we may be at time. And hopefully we got to almost all of your questions. Thank you all very much for coming. We hope to see you in the fall. And yeah, don't hesitate to reach back if you have additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.